Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In my last video, I did an unboxing of some trapping supplies, which my main goal was to purchase some MB550 leg hole traps. And today, I'm going to do a little review, observation, and an opinion on the MB550 regular jaw. Stay tuned. Alright. Just by handling this trap, looking at it, it's a pretty stout trap. It's heavy, and what I did was I'm going to weigh this, turn this on. I'm going to hook this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but believe it or not, it's 2.11 pounds. 2.9, well, depending on me moving the scale around. But here it says 2.9, 2.09 in weight. So it's a pretty stout trap. And with the jaws being cast, it's going to obviously add to the weight, which is not a bad thing. And what I see on the jaws themselves, right next to the levers, there's a little, it's casted to the point where it has little protrusions to stop the levers from going all the way forward. And what they did too, which is I think is a good idea, they took a welder and bubble welded each of those points to stop the levers from closing all the way. And another thing that I've noticed compared to a trap that I used last year, I'm still going to use the trap that I used last year this year, but on the jaws, they have these little ears that come up or come out and go up, which kind of lock in the jaws. Unlike the other one I used last year, the J-hook was mounted on the side, and when I caught, I don't know if it was either a badger that I caught and released, or if it was a bigger raccoon. They were pulling on the chain, which was mounted to this side or either side, and as they were pulling, they were starting to open the base plate up, and it separated one of the jaws, not to the point where I lost the animal, but bad enough to where I decided I want to go with something like this. So it's that's one reason why I wanted to switch over, and another reason, I just want to see what the hype was. And from just handling this is a nice trap. It's sturdy. The base plate I see is crimped for strength underneath here. It's assembled with 3 bolts, and I believe these are locking nuts, and they have a D-ring underneath, so when you do catch an animal, they're going to pull this way. They're not going to pull to the side. They're going to pull away from the chain, which is good, because if it's on the side, you might have damage to the paws. It could end up cutting the hide a little bit on the paw, or it's just going to prevent damage to the paw. Very minimal, if anything. The pan is mounted to where the springs are on, that little piece of round stock that, I don't know the terminology, I apologize, but like all the other, or like the trap that I used last year, you have to, there's a nut and bolt to set the pan tension, and this just moves freely. Okay. And the pan tension from the factory for this trap, I looked in the catalog, it's set at 2.1 pounds of pan tension, which I think is a decent amount. And the dog, it's rounded, so there's no flat stock involved where it could be possible for bending. This may bend also. I'm not saying it's not going to, but with it being round, I think, in my opinion, it has a little bit more strength than being flat. And what it's the dog too, it's, let's see if you can see this, it's got a little, I don't know if you can see that or not, for night latching, a little groove filed into it, so when you go and set it, you know exactly where to put the pan every single time. Let me set it. I'll show you. It's a new trap, new spring, so it's going to be hard to set. It's going to be, yeah, nice and, woo-wee. Talking and setting this trap at the same time ain't going to work. Whew. I got to watch my thumb. All right. The trap is set right from the factory. Once you set the pan at the night latch, the pan sits level with the jaws. No need to worry about that. And what I'm going to do now is pull down the pan to the point until you hear that audible click for the night latch. There, that's where it needs to be. So yeah, it's as you can tell too, the jaws are pretty thick. It's got to be probably about 3/8 inch thick, maybe a little bit better, plus or minus, I guess. It's a double coil, 1 coil, 2 coil. It's got, here, let me set this off before I trap myself. Okay. Like, I don't know if I mentioned before, it has a heavy duty D-ring underneath. It's got a J-hook with a swivel, another J-hook, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 links of chain. I don't know what the grade is of it, but it's got another J-hook and a swivel, crunch-proof swivels on either end. So these are heavy duty also. And the pan thickness, it looks like to be the thickness of everything else in this trap, maybe a little bit thinner than the base plates, and almost seems a little bit thicker than the levers. I could be wrong. I went ahead and washed them all up, got the factory oil off the traps. I just soaked them in dish detergent with some water and let them sit for a while. Took them out, rinsed them off, and did it once more, and just kind of dunked them a few times and let them hang. And this is the amount of rust that I've gotten on them so far. So once they get to the point where they're rusted enough, I'm going to go ahead and dye them and wax them. So this is, I really like how heavy duty this trap is, and I think I'm going to be satisfied with the results. Hopefully I don't catch things that I've caught before. I've caught everything but a coyote in my coyote sets. I'm crossing my fingers. So hope you learned something. I did. This is my very first time with MB550s. I don't know if I'll probably get some more, maybe get half a dozen of the offset jaws. Yeah, I hope you learned something like I did just now looking at it. And if you like this video and if you made it this far, like always, notification bell, subscribe, comment, thumbs up. You know, like everyone else says at the end of the videos. So I have a joke. What does it cost for a pirate to get their ears pierced? A buccaneer. I like that one. All right. Well, to the trappers, tight chains. And to everybody else and the trappers, enjoy the little things.